Hi everybody and welcome to our weekly Formula for Success webinar. I'm looking forward to another content-packed edition of our weekly show, and great to see so many new people on as well. Just before we came on live, chatting with some of the various attendees. We have people on now from Hawaii and Australia, and it's the first time we've ever had someone for Hawaii, so great to have the country on board. And we have people from all over the States and Canada and Australia, New Zealand, parts of Asia, Ireland and UK, of course, and Europe. So everyone, congratulations, because it proves that you are interested in making a change in your life. You're interested in learning the truth, because we're hitting people with very hard-hitting topics, in the last couple of weeks, and this week is no different. Revealed why animal and dairy products are killing you, and this is a pretty harsh title for some people to see, but this is the reality. And I hope by the end of the webinar you will see that, you will realize it, you will understand why this is actually the truth. And some of you may already have looked into such information and understand it, but let's really start understanding the truth about this, because there's so much that we don't know and we don't understand and we're not told about. And it's important for you to to find this out. Find this out for yourself, because literally what you put in your mouth determines your longevity, or also the other side determines your life being shortened, and especially by killer diseases like cancer and diabetes and so on. That as we get into the webinar. So I just wanted to welcome you and thank you for being on. It's going to be another amazing edition. Firstly, I just want to start my own personal story in terms of why I now do webinars on this type of. And basically, I will come from a bodybuilding background. I'm in the fitness industry, health industry now for 18 years, and for the first, I suppose, bones of 10 years, I predominantly was in bodybuilding and competitions and building muscle, and that was all my goal. And as a result of that, I consume lots of meat and lots of dairy products, because if you want to build muscle, if you want to be a bodybuilder, you have to consume them. This is what you're told by bodybuilders, told by experts in magazines, videos, whatever you're exposed to. It's all about how much meat you consume, how much dairy you consume. Beef, definitely once, if not up to 2 or 3 times a day. Huge amounts of dairy products, and that was my lifestyle, because it's what's supposed to be. Actually, doing such webinars like this, because it's very important for people to know the truth. And the key thing I'd say to you, if you're coming onto this webinar as a skeptic, the title, be open-minded. That's the most important. Be open-minded as you listen to this, because you're going to need to be. Okay, that has helped me so much in my career for the last 17 years. I've been a person who has been very open-minded. So this is where I came from. And also, I would have grown up as a teenager as someone who consumed a lot of meat products and dairy products, because that's what we were fed. That your parents gave you. You normally have meat and 2 veg and potatoes or something like that, and meat and sandwiches, and have lots of milk. And parents were told that kids need dairy products and they need it for their bone, their development. So it was nothing unusual the way we grew up, but it was usually dominated by meat and dairy products, like most people's lifestyles today, basically. And this is where anyone's a parent, it's very important for you to take the responsibility of educating your kids in the right way. It's very, very important that you take this information and pass it on to your kids, because you're responsible for what way their lifestyles go, what way their body goes, how well they fight diseases, and such information is crucial. That would have been my background. And as I say, consuming lots of these products. And over the years, up to 7 years ago, I would have been like this. And then I gradually started to become more aware of an alternative lifestyle, a much better lifestyle. And this really started, my son is now 8, so 8 years ago, it was decided, because my wife had been vegan for maybe about 4 or 5 years before that, and vegetarian for the rest of her life before that. So he was going to be vegan. That was it. That was her decision, and something I had to go with. But it was something that I cringed at the thought of. I was literally waiting after he was born for when we probably have to bring him to the hospital because he'd be deficient in cadmium or something. Yes, this is what made me go along this journey for the last 7, which is nearly 8 years now, or is 8 years, because I saw him thrive. I saw the way he was thriving, saw the way he was growing, saw the way he was developing, saw the way his brain was, saw the way he was never sick, saw the way he never had the typical ailments that kids his age had, or be his cousins or other kids that we knew that were at that age. So this something really opened my eyes to it, made me think, actually, maybe there's a bit of sense to what she's telling me. Maybe I do need to look at some of this information, and that's what kind of started my journey towards looking at basically 100% vegan, which I've been now since January 1st, 2012. And this is, as I said, a big reason why I'm passionate about sharing this information with you, because many of you are probably in a place I was at 8 years ago, where I would have thought not having meat, not having dairy is pretty much ludicrous and so unhealthy and so bad for you, to where I am today. I know it's best way I can possibly live, and having on me and my family and also clients all over the world who have adopted this new way of living that I've recommended. And it's, some of you yourselves who are on, who've been on our webinars the last couple of weeks or months, you know the impact too of making such changes because you've been doing it as we've recommended it. So basically, meat and dairy, simple truth of it is, there are huge factors. Basically, animal products are huge factors in the massive numbers when it comes to heart disease and strokes, obesity, especially if you look at kids these days. Look at the obesity that's around kids. And in general, look at the world's population. Look at the obesity levels around. Diabetes, it also has a huge impact on, and dairy products has a huge impact on dairy, which you may not realize. Cancer, for all of them, meat, dairy products. This is really why I'm passionate about educate people on this topic, because most of my family have died because of cancer, like the 60s, that kind of age. And people all over the world are dying constantly of cancer. And there's a direct correlation between the countries with the highest meat consumption and dairy consumption have also got the highest rates of cancer. Just like those with the lowest rates of dairy and meat consumption have the lowest rates of cancer. And cancer is something that supposedly billions is being invested in, but numbers of people who die from it or get it and have recurring cancer grows and grows and grows and grows. So there's something wrong somewhere. And again, it's what we put in our body. And this is the unfortunate reality. This is the truth of what will happen if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't consume the right foods. This is the reality of it. And this is what's happening every day, probably thousands of people over the world in terms of cancer especially. So the key thing with information like you're going to get in this webinar or any one of our weekly webinars is, it's all about regaining control, and you do that through the right information, right education, and of course motivation. But control is useless unless you take action. If you don't take action, you're not going to get anywhere, because taking action determines where you're going to get results and what your results are going to be. And inaction is actually taking action. Okay, I'll say that again in case it didn't make sense. Inaction is actually taking action because you're deciding to not take any action. So it's so crucial to take the right action and utilize the information that I share on this webinar, just like we share in every other webinar, and that will lead to your results. And this is where it's your responsibility. It's 100% up to you where your life goes, what happens in your life, and you need to start taking responsibility. So it's my promise to you after this presentation that you're finally going to understand how the food industry has lied to you for decades. Okay, for decades it's been lying to you. And I'm sick and tired of seeing it, so I want to change it and tell you the truth. You'll understand also why we're not designed to consume animals. You know the truth about how consuming dairy products impacts you. And you will realize that you can increase your longevity and your chances of preventing killer diseases, as well as accelerating your fat loss and skyrocket your energy levels, and many other benefits as well. There are many benefits to moving more plant-based. Okay, and one thing I'm going to stress before I go on, the ideal is that you start eliminating dairy and meat products and animal products from your lifestyle, as hopefully you'll feel convinced at the end of this webinar. However, at the same time, you need to look at the type of person you are. For me, for most people, it's not realistic to completely radically change your nutrition plan. Some people it works for, but for many people I find they do it short term but not long term. I want you to have long-term success. So take on board what I share with you on this webinar, see that it makes sense to you, and if it does, make some changes tomorrow. Make some changes today even, depending where you are in the world. If you're in the States, Canada, you're only in the afternoon time, so it's loads of time today for you to make changes. Or if you're in Australia, in the time, the whole day to make changes. Pick something you're going to implement and don't radically change it. Make steps in the right direction, okay? Now let's go on dairy. I'm going to start with dairy as opposed to animal products, because dairy really is the killer from so many angles. And this is like National Dairy Council in Ireland and recommending like milk, cheese, yogurt, and so on, 3 a day. And this is the typical recommendations that we're hit with here in Ireland, which I'm sure is similar where you're in Australia or the States or Hawaii or anywhere in the world. So, now it's time to hear the reality. Now this picture, okay, this is a picture we can all relate to, and it's a picture that's normal for us to see, okay? Nothing wrong with this, just human nature. However, what does this picture do to you? What's your reaction to this picture? So just type your answer into the question box. How would you react to that picture? How normal does that look to you? You see a mother feeding her baby, so feeding someone of her own species. And you've got the other one, there's a woman feeding a calf. nightmares, insane, disgusting, frightening, shocking. Yeah, they're all the kind of response I was thinking. But this is in essence what we're doing all the time. It's the other way around. It's like we're sucking off the cow because we're drinking the milk from the cow, just like we drink the milk from the goat. Okay? So when we're our own species, like this woman and her baby, normal. If that was just a calf, sucking off a cow, you wouldn't have had any reaction. It's just nature. Just like if it was a kid off a goat, or even if it was a monkey off its mother. But when it was a human being with another species, that was shocking for you. But we don't flinch when we see when we are actually doing the same thing ourselves. When we're literally sucking off cows, just so we don't see the process, we just end up with the milk on our table or the cheese or the yolk. So we need to start thinking about again where this is coming from, and that's, I think, a big divide. That's the reason most people accept that it's normal to have the meat and the dairy products part of your life, because you're only seeing the final product. You're not seeing what's happening to get it there. You're blocking out in your mind as well, what's happening, how it's actually getting there, which is what's so important. And this is what I want you to start realizing. That's why I want you to see pictures like this, get you thinking a bit more. So basically, to explain a bit about milk and what it contains, so it contains protein called casein. And as well, when I've got slides up, listen as opposed to reading, because if you're reading, you're not going to be listening. Okay, so just listen instead of reading. Milk contains protein called casein, and this contains calcium. Okay, these are chemically bound together. They need to be broken apart for proper utilization. We've created digestive enzymes to do this. They're called renin latase. However, after the age of 3, you no longer produce these enzymes. Now, the question to you is, why do you produce them? Age of 3 is where you don't see, like, I don't still breastfeed off my mother. I'm 35. You wouldn't even see a 15-year-old. You wouldn't see a 10-year-old. Even if we saw a 6 or 7-year-old breastfeeding off their mother, you'd think it would be a bit strange. After the age of 3, this stops. Why is this? We don't produce the enzymes to break it down. Okay? And it's just not normal. We don't need it. So we're actually the only species on the planet that drinks milk as an adult. There's not one single mammal that drinks milk after they're weaned, except for us. And even worse, they don't even drink their own. Like this, cows don't drink milk. Okay, calves drink it. The babies drink it. Like gorillas don't drink their own milk, but the baby gorilla will for a couple of years. So it's just not natural to drink milk after weaning. It's even more natural to drink milk from another species. Does that make sense? I want to make sure all these things are making sense as we're going through it. So you can just type into the question box to let me know that this is making sense to you. It's important to me that it makes sense. Alright, because it's very important for you to really grasp these concepts. It's very important for you to understand what's going on here. So as I said, we're not even producing the right enzymes to break it down. We're the only species that drinks milk as an adult or even after the age of 3. And even other species don't even drink their own milk. Alright, so it seems you understand that okay. Good. In terms of how different are we to cows, milk comes for the calves only. Cows have 4 stomachs. Okay, one weighs an average 200 pounds and 2,000 pounds 2 years later. This is what happens. Calf be 200 pounds at birth, 2 years later 2,000 pounds. So it's designed to weight gain, like for every baby. Human baby is breastfeeding because the best nourishment they can get to develop as fast as possible, to grow and get stronger and their brain develop and their senses and the whole lot. Same with a calf. It's designed to go up 10 times in weight in 2 years. And it's a big reason why people cut weight because of their dairy consumption. It's the one noticeable impact you see when you cut it down or cut it out, that you see your body losing fat, because dairy actually causes your body to store fat. Goat's milk a bit better for us than cows because they've only one stomach like us, so they're like us that way. But it's still not meant for us. Again, it's only for the kid. It's not even for the goat. The goat doesn't drink it. The kid drinks it. And also, both cow and goat milk contain much higher casein amounts, and this is why there's such digestive problems for people who consume dairy products and lactose intolerance and so on, because it's over 300 times that of milk, human milk, in terms of the casein amount. So again, this is where cow's milk is for calves, goat's milk is for kids, gorilla milk is for its baby, human milk is for human babies, and so on. So it's very important again that you consume the milk of your own species. And again, like I said, just for those few years at the start. That's what it's for. People often wonder, where am I going to get calcium from then? Well, let's look at a great ape or an elephant. How much milk do they actually drink? They don't drink any of their own. Okay? And what about their bones? Let's look at these. Look at them powerful, muscular creatures. like they're muscular. And then look at an elephant in comparison to ourselves, a human. You know, there's just, when you talk about in terms of, you know, the need for calcium and the need for bones and the need for proteins, look at these guys. So this is where there's such a myth in terms of what supposedly we need. Okay, look at it as I said, the size of the bones of these mammals versus the size of our bones. So, you know, again, this is where I want to visually let you see things too, so it makes sense to you. So you need lots of calcium supposedly. Well, basically the calcium's role is to neutralize acid in the body. Okay, it's basically like a bank balance. So each time something acidic goes in, you rob your calcium bank. And this is stored mainly in the bones, the calcium that is, and your teeth. If you make constant withdrawals, you lead to brittle bones or osteoporosis. So what causes that, again, is acidity. If your body is very acidic, if you're eating stuff that's acidic, it's going to leach calcium from your bones. Dairy products are acidic. And contrary to the marketing that you've been heard, or that you've been hearing for decades possibly, they actually make our bones weaker, and they lead to all the bone diseases, osteoporosis, arthritis, and so on. So they make them weaker, not stronger. Basically, it shows the power of advertising. It shows the power of money, because food industry is a business at the end of the day, and there's a lot of money involved, so it's all about profit. So dairy products are hugely profitable. So they make out like it's going to be important for your bones, make them stronger, and important for calcium. All lies. Okay, this is what I want to uncover to you, to let you see what the truth actually is. You know, many reasons coming up here. So it's a glue-like substance that sticks and is mucus forming. Okay, this is one of the main benefits I felt when I cut out dairy, is that, you know, I felt so much clearer, my passageways were clearer, my lungs, everything. And whenever, during that 7-8 year journey to becoming vegan, I would have, whenever I had a little bit of dairy, whether it was in a product, say it was in a baked good, or in a bar of chocolate or biscuit or something, or I had actual milk or ice cream, which I would have had for a while, my nose would start to get mucousy and start to run. Again, that's the impact. And also what's really important is that the good stuff can't be broken down, the bad stuff can't get out, because this glue-like substance is in your body, it's getting stored, and stores a toxic waste. It stops the good stuff getting in your body and moving around and doing what it's supposed to, and stopping the bad stuff getting out, so stopping all the toxic stuff getting out of your body. And this is where, you know, it leads to people being overweight, and sick and tired, and it has a huge impact on breathing and your intestines and your bloodstream, and, you know, overall in every kind of way. And the clients I've had who we've got to cut out dairy, and clients who've had asthma or any breathing issues, it has made such an impact on them, and many of them have been able to give up their inhalers. So if you have asthma right now, or you know someone who's got asthma or any difficult breathing condition, get them to give up dairy. That will make a massive difference. I can guarantee you, even within a week, 2 weeks maximum, they will notice a difference in their breathing ability. More bad news in terms of dairy. It's been linked with every possible ailment that there is. You simple things like acne or anxiety even. Look at ADHD and ADD. These things are so common with kids these days. Dairy is having a big impact on us. Indigestion, heartburn, IBS, joint pain, osteoporosis. Dairy is good for your bones. Dairy is the proof why it's not. It has a huge negative impact on your bones. Your immune system, again, stopping the good stuff doing the work it's meant to do, and it's keeping the bad stuff in. The more toxic our bodies are, the worse our body's going to be. The more open we are to getting diseases. Okay? So this is again where, you know, it makes again such a desperate impact on our bodies. Allergies even, okay, heart disease, diabetes, cancers, everything. Researchers at various universities, so a few different research things here for you. For bronchial asthma patients whose condition was so severe that they required cortisone or other medication, put onto a pure vegetarian diet without eggs or dairy. The results, after 1 year, more than 90% of the patients who completed the project reported a major improvement in the severity and frequency of asthma attacks. Also, the level of medication dosages dropped an average of 50 to 90%. A number of patients were so improved they were able to discontinue medication altogether. That was 1 year. And these were serious, so severe they required cortisone. And this was the impact for 1 year of cutting out eggs and dairy. Here's some more. 34 published studies, 16 countries. The ones with the highest rates of osteoporosis, including the US, Finland, and Sweden, were those in which people consumed the most meat, milk, and other animal products. So like I was saying to you earlier, there's a direct correlation between those countries who consume the most dairy and animal products and have the worst case of diseases. Okay, and same with the ones where they consume very little, they don't have as much disease. Alright, so this is where it's so important for you to start getting control, taking this information, and like I said, take action. Look at what you consume on a daily basis from animal-based products and dairy, and decide today or tomorrow what changes are you going to make. Here's an interesting study one I really like to bring up. So 40 million American women have osteoporosis. 40 million. There's only 250,000 African women have. And out of 40 tribes in Kenya and Tanzania, only one has osteoporosis, called the Maasai tribe, cattle-owning, milk-drinking tribe. So out of all 40, one is osteoporosis, and it happens to be the one drinking milk. Okay, so again, you can see the direct relationship again. And look at that, 250,000 African, in a country that's underdeveloped to a large degree, undernourished, yet only 250,000 have it. Whereas you take the 40 million Americans who are well nourished and have every kind of option available to them, every kind of food, they're the ones who have the osteoporosis. And the same can be put in for every ailment, every condition, every pain, ache, disease, cancer, diabetes, osteoporosis. You'd have the same direct correlations. Here's some more. Statistics show that osteoporosis is most common in exactly those countries dairy products consume the largest. US, Finland, Sweden, UK are the worst officially. Here's another one. African Bantu women taking only 250 milligrams of calcium per day. There are 9 children during their lifetime. Breastfeed them for 2 years. Never have calcium deficiency. Seldom break a bone. Rarely lose a tooth. The children grow up nice and strong. How can they do this? 350 milligrams of calcium a day when you're recommended to have 1,200. Okay, and this is one thing I've always noticed. Even take with the ads where they're looking for help, looking for donations. One thing that always stands out is the teeth. His teeth are so white and so strong looking, yet they're so undernourished. Okay, and this again is what's amazing impact that consuming certain foods will have in your body. Okay, so is all this making sense, everyone, so far? Is some of it a bit eye-opening to people? I just want to get a bit of feedback here just while I'm getting some water. Because it's important for me in these, this is where throughout the presentation, any questions you might have to fire them in. Martin, you should have a picture. Not sure why you don't have pictures. You mightn't have the right thing open. You might have to click the go to web icon at the bottom of your screen. Okay, so everyone finds this interesting so far anyway, and some eye-opening information. Great. And keep the comments coming in, keep the questions coming in. That's important too. Okay, let's look at cancer, the big C word. So, specific links, diet and prostate cancer. Dairy consumption has been the biggest one. Okay, consistently, dairy products and dairy consumption and prostate cancer are directly linked. And here's a research study. 12 of 14 case-controlled studies, 7 of 9 cohort studies observed a positive association for some measure of dairy products and prostate cancer, one of the most consistent dietary predictors for prostate cancer in the published literature. Okay, those are the highest intakes of dairy up the risk of total prostate cancer and up to 4-fold increase in risk of metastatic or fatal prostate cancer relative to low consumption. Now, for all the guys out there especially, take notice of this. This should be an eye-opener for you. And just for any male, female, just cancer. Because the simple thing is, take diseases survive and thrive in an acidic environment, 2 or more. In general, most of the time, it's impossible for disease to survive. But the more acidic you are, the more wide open are your sitting duck for diseases, whether it be cancer or any of them. But cancer is obviously the most prevalent one these days. Sitting duck. So when cancer hits, if you're acidic, it's going to start thriving. It's going to spread like wildfire. So it's really important for you to, if you get cancer or you want to prevent getting cancer, muscle cancer, start cutting out the dairy products. Animal products too, but dairy is just such a massive impact. Okay, really important. So cow's milk has acidic effect. Cancer thrives in an acidic environment. Casein feeds cancer growth. And remember I said earlier, dairy and even goat's milk is 300 times not the casein that's in human milk. So look at the impact that's having on our bodies. Not only is this consuming this making your body more acidic, you're putting in casein, which is 300 times the strength that it is in humans. human milk. Let's look at diabetes, type 1 diabetes. Genetics does play a role, but diet also has an impact, and really has a major impact. I'm one who's always believed that, you're responsible for what happens to your body and diseases you might get, or, where you're at right now based on your life as well. And genetics might be there, but you're the one who's determining what's going into the good food or bad food. So it's very important to not play the genetics card. Don't let that be the one that you use all the time to make excuses. Here's a study of cow's milk consumption of children 14 years of age, 12 countries. Again, direct correlation with type 1 diabetes. Greater the consumption of cow's milk, greater the prevalence of type 1 diabetes. In Finland, again, is one of the worst countries for dairy consumption. It's 36 times more common than in Japan. Okay? Because Japan consumes way less dairy products compared to Finland. And the US and UK and such countries will be catching up all the time as well. Now, some of you might be wondering, and even some of you might be doctors, thinking, doctors tell you to drink lots of dairy and consume lots of dairy products, and it's so important for your bones, and you should have yogurts and cheeses and so on, and if you're low in calcium, you need to consume more of these products. How can they be wrong? They're such highly respected people in society. Well, the reality is they are wrong. They're completely wrong. They're 100% wrong. And the reason is because they actually have only about 3 hours of education and nutrition in their whole medical study. In all those years they've studied they have about 3 hours of nutrition. And that nutrition is totally outdated, and even when it was started decades ago, it was wrong then, and it's even more wrong now. So they actually know nothing about nutrition unless they do any specific studies themselves, and that's why they're now holistic doctors who know the importance of cutting out things like dairy and meat and move more plant-based. They're different. Your typical GP, your typical doctor, they do not have a clue about nutrition. This is where the problem is, because they're so highly respected, and rightly so in terms of what they've gone through and what they want to provide, but they don't know what nutrition advice is not right. Okay. So dairy country recommendations. Why even cow's milk? You might ask, why use cows? Everything produces milk. Why use cows? Why don't we have gorilla or elephant milk? Well, think about it. They produce the largest quantity of milk, but also more easily housed, and animals are more easily managed by farmers. And basically dairy industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's got brilliant marketing. It's addictive in terms of its taste, because that's another thing actually. In terms of cheese has properties in it that are the same as heroin. That's why you think of cheese, I absolutely love cheese. They can't enough of it to start, they can't stop. It's because, again, there's addictive properties in it like heroin. Okay, that's again why it's so addictive. And I said cheese more than anything. So, as I said, it's really important to see beside the brilliant marketing that's there, and become more open-minded, and become more aware of the facts, like what I'm sharing with you. Now we go on to meat and meat-free zone. Again, as I said, let me go back. So I don't ever want to come across again like pure preaching. As I said to start, I've had my own 8-year journey of this now, going from someone who consumed beef at least once a day, if not up to 3 times a day, and lots of dairy products, and my diet was mainly animal-based, to now being about 9 months 100% vegan. It takes time to get there, but you have to be open-minded and listen to the information. But now what I advocate to clients and to people like yourselves, or anyone that's involved in our coaching or products, is to move on our plant-based. Plant-based is the way to go, because animal-based products are not good for you for so many ways. Let's compare, because there's some school of thoughts out there, and if you look at the paleo diet, which has become very popular, we consume lots of these products, lots of animals. That was our normal way when we were back being cavemen. When the truth is, we're not even designed to consume it. And there's a lot of thought there that that's, a lot of propaganda there with it being made up, just again to tie in with the whole meat and dairy industries. But if you look at just physically the way we're made, and if you look at meat eaters, they've got claws. I think of every meat eater, they've got sharp claws, for grabbing, tearing. Humans don't have that. We don't have that. For instance, we couldn't catch a deer and rip it apart with our hands, kill it with our hands, apart from choking. We can't do that, whereas tigers and such animals, they're designed to do that. Meat eaters have sharp front teeth for tearing, and I was saying there, the shark teeth. Oh, just 1 second there. What's happening? Oh, just 1 second there. I just have to open that up again. For some reason the presentation closed. Oh, give me 1 minute now. Just need to get this opened. Technology, got to love it. It can just close itself. Okay. Let's get back to where we were. Just a lot of buttons pressing, just me getting to the right slide. Okay. Right. We're back to where we should be. Let me just bring up the screen again. Okay. Let's make sure you can see that all right. Okay, great. So the sharp front teeth for tearing and no flat molars for grinding. Human teeth, no sharp front teeth, flat molars. If you look at the difference here in the teeth. So you see here, it's a sharp front teeth on the tiger. For tearing, no flat molars. For grinding, look at us. We've all flat molars for grinding. That's what our teeth are designed for. We don't do sharp teeth for ripping and tearing. Okay? So this again is why it's so important for us to start becoming open and start to open our minds and start to listen to such information and let it sink in and let it make sense when it makes sense. This is what started me questioning the way I was eating and what I've been told for decades. Also, meat eaters have intestinal tract that's only 3 times their body length. Okay, it's basically so that rapidly decaying meat can pass through because inside our bodies is really high temperature. Okay, and when, for instance, if you were to put a chunk of meat out on a table in a hot summer's day, what's going to happen to it? It's going to decay really rapidly and go rotten. Same thing's going to happen inside your body, so it needs to get out, and that's why people, for instance, can get a colonic irrigation years after consuming meat and it's coming out. That's what can be so disgusting and an eye-opener for people who get colonics or other similar treatments. So this is what comes out of your body because it's there inside rotted. Okay. Whereas if you take ourselves, we have an intestinal tract that's 10 to 12 times our body length. We're not designed to get things out fast. We're designed for food to go through and process slowly and get out of our systems then on a slow, gradual process, like with the whole thing of grinding with nuts and seeds and fruits and berries and such foods. Meat eaters have strong hydrochloric acid in their stomach to digest meat. We have a stomach acid that's 20 times weaker than that of a meat eater. Okay? So you take meat eaters like, again, tigers and such, 3 times their body length, and also stomach acid that's 20 times stronger to break it down. Again, the 2 big ones why we're very different. Meat eaters as well have salivary glands in the mouth, not needed to pre-digest grains and fruits. Okay? They don't need them. Whereas we have well-developed salivary glands because it's necessary to pre-digest grains and fruits. Okay? So hope that's making sense. This funny little cartoon I found before, but again, it's very true. To see the woman here, I warned you about the hormones and all that meat and dairy you eat. But that's the other side of it. If you take, apart from the fact that we're not even designed to consume it, look what they're putting into it. Look at the rubbish, the chemicals, the steroids, the antibiotics, everything they're putting into dairy and meat. It's unbelievable. And you're consuming that thing. Plus the trauma of the animals as they're being butchered, basically butchered. You need to check out some videos. Check out actually Earthlings. I'm going to put that in here. Everyone needs to watch this film because that would really open up your eyes. Put that into YouTube, Earthlings, and you'll find free full-length film. But watch that. That would open your eyes to what happens in the food industry. Because again, remember, it's all about profit. It is big business. But the amount of rubbish that's inside in what we eat is absolutely frightening. And we're taking it in. And the protein, we've been told we need all this protein and so much protein. The reality is we don't need a fraction of protein that you're saying. Every food contains something, otherwise it couldn't bound together properly. Okay? It's very important for you to open up your eyes to this and become very aware that the whole protein myth, protein lie that's out there. Our body needs a certain amount of protein, it needs a good lot of carbohydrates, it needs vitamins and minerals, it needs a certain amount of essential fats, it needs balance, okay? It doesn't need buckets and buckets of protein, because as well what the whole protein lie has done is it's basically it's given backing to the whole supplement industry. Like one of the first nutritional stuff that came out, protein supplements, protein shakes, and it's developed into $1 billion industry since. And they both go hand in hand. You need to consume lots of protein, you need to consume lots of shakes, protein shakes, because you can't get enough protein in. Here's a solution. Yet the way it's used in all these products used to be cast aside before. This used to be thrown out. So someone got a brain, here, let's stop throwing this out. Let's actually make it a product, food product, and make money off it. As I said, it's profit. Okay? And that's one, as I said, up to 8 years ago, I was part of that. I used to consume huge amounts of supplements. I used to spend about $150 US dollars a week on nutritional supplements, and mainly whey-based, chemical-based. And it's like huge amounts of protein every single day, animal-based protein it is. Now, for the last 19 months, I've consumed only plant-based protein. I've decreased my overall protein intake by, I'd say, 4 or 5 times compared to when it was at its height, and I've never been in better shape or better health ever. So again, to me, that was my own proof of it being a lie, what I had been following for years. Let's look at some famous vegans. I'm not saying you have to become vegan. You know, vegetarian is a big step in the right direction. You can go vegan, and there's also raw, which is another level again. But go to where you feel comfortable. It's Natalie Portman, working in Phoenix. He actually narrates Earthlings. Gwyneth Paltrow, Bill Clinton, after he got his heart attack there a couple of years ago, he decided to totally change his life, and becoming vegan was a big part of it. Serena Williams, let's look at what she's done for the last, I think it's Serena or Venus, not 100% sure which, but I think they both have become vegans the last few years. She's basically cleaning up. She's winning everything. Now, she was winning a lot before, but she even publicly states how quick her recovery is, how much stronger she is, and so on, since she adopted this lifestyle. This cage fighter is a champion cage fighter. I just can't remember his name. One of the most surprising ones is this guy, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson going vegan. Now, that was a shocker. But again, just shows, again, you know, he cares about his body, and he wants to, you know, take care of it, his health and so on, especially now his career's over. I'm sure his priorities have changed quite a lot. He became a very famous vegan as well recently. So let's do a recap here. As I said, we're not even designed to digest animal products. Dairy products leach calcium from your bones, and the consumption is linked to it. We're actually the only mammal that drinks some milk from another species at 3 years of age. If you want to live a long, vibrant, healthy, energetic life, you need to eliminate meat and dairy from a nutrition plan. This is fact. I'm telling you this from my own experience, from people I've met, from people I've spoken to, from people I've listened to, from videos I've watched. There's so many different angles that I can come at from this. And as I've stressed, it's not where I would have been before. 8, 9 years ago, 14, 15 years ago, I would have recommended something different, very different. So the bottom line is it's your choice. It's totally up to you what way you go. And like I said at the very start, you can take on board the information that I've shared with you, and you can just leave it go over your head and not do anything with it, or you can make changes today. Everyone can make some change today. Even if it's nighttime right now where you are, and you have to plan for tomorrow, you can make changes to what you were planning to eat, to consume less animal products and dairy products. So the choice is yours. Okay? I'm going to open up to questions. Start typing any questions you have. I know there's a few gone in already, but just very quickly before that, I just want to, you know, stress to you that, you know, there's only so much that can be covered in like this, a 50-minute or hour-long presentation, even with our Q&A. There's just so much information out there that you need to know. Okay? And we hold these webinars every week to share information. There's people who've been on these webinars every week for the last 6, 12 months. There's more and more that can be shared. There's, you know, there's only a tiny percentage of the information you need to hear about your body, mind, health, but also what about, you know, in terms of your relationships and your finances and your professional career and aspirations. You know, how about getting balance in all of those areas? And our next Formula for Success live event, which is an event where we design your personal blueprint for all of this. We educate you on what you need to do for your relationships and body, mind, health, professional career, your wealth creation, all those areas, and full 3 days of coaching with myself doing the majority of it, plus some amazing speakers from all over the world. You can attend this by live stream, or you can attend this live at the venue. Now the venue, actually, for everyone listening, it's not Dublin anymore, it's actually going to be Limerick, October 4th to the 6th. If you want to attend at the venue, there's early bird special. So it's attending in Limerick, October 4th to 6th. Early bird is only $97, or euros, sorry, 97 euros, okay? That's all, and there's a link you need to go to. Or you can attend from anywhere that works. I know, like, the people on it come up from Hawaii and various parts of the States and Australia and Canada and so on. And even people in the UK who can't get over, for whatever reason, to the venue. You can attend the live stream for only $27. $27. That's about 20 euros. That's it. So you can attend at the venue for $90. You can attend via live stream for 20 euros. Extra bonuses, you're going to get access to our pictures as well. So get your ticket booked. So two options, October 4th to 6th. Attend at the venue, €97. Attend via live stream, $27, or about 20 euro. Okay? So I'm just going to type those links in here so you can go directly to it, so you haven't to worry about typing it yourself. You can just click the link. It's going to appear in your chat box in the next few seconds. And also, just start putting in your questions if you have any. Just give me 1 second to put this in. And also, if anyone has any experience of making such changes to their lifestyle with cutting out dairy and cutting out animal products, share them with us as well. That would be great to hear. So let me see. So guys, there's the links there for you. So links down to the chat box. So just click the link, sign up for your ticket. €97 to go to the venue, which is Limerick, or $27 to attend from anywhere in the world. So, you know, like you're in Hawaii, you can attend the whole event, whole 3 days of coaching for $27. Plus also you get access to the 3 days for life in terms of the recordings, okay? Now, okay guys, so while you're doing that, just going to answer some questions that are here. Some people sharing that, you know, before they had severe asthma and when they gave up the dairy products, it was the one thing that they left to change, and it impacted them. So that's great. Thanks to Helen for sharing that with me. I know even a client of mine called Sheahan, he has severe problems in terms of pains all over his body and digestive issues and, you know, breathing issues and everything, and he was at every kind of therapist that he could find. He cut out every kind of food, he experimented in every kind of way, and it wasn't until he cut out dairy. When he cut out dairy, within 1 week, the pain had disappeared, his breathing returned to normal, and overall just felt that was the missing ingredient. And even a client of mine who had I think she was 11 years old at the time, severe asthma, like having to constantly use her inhaler. I got her to cut down the dairy product, cut them out, and also to increase her antioxidant intake and just overall improve what she was consuming in terms of food, lots of junk. And within 2 months, she was her inhalers completely, and she has been now for the last 2-3 years. Also, she lost a ton of weight as well as part of it. So, you know, that's an added benefit. Okay, let's see here. Patrick, yeah, this is the common kind of stuff that's out there. Like they say, you know, you need 0.8 grams of protein, pound of protein. You know, if someone is 12 stone, that's 168 pounds. So 168 pounds, 70 grams of protein that they need per day. This is a typical thing from bodybuilding magazines and international experts. Even sometimes, okay, which is pretty good. 0.8, that's 150. If you eat 5 times a day, that's 30 grams of pure protein. Everyone has 5. Way too much. You don't need that. As I said, I used to do that before, but you do not need that. It's total mess, total lie. It just fuels the animal protein industry, part of the food industry, and also the supplement industry as well. So you just want to eat healthy. You know, include some protein source in your meals, that's no problem, but remember everything is protein in it. If you eat rice, pasta, any of these things, beans, lentils, they have carbs in them, but they also have protein in them. Otherwise they can't bind together properly. So, Patrick, so that's how inaccurate that is. Lauren from Hawaii. Brilliant. So you're ready to make the change. That's great. And great, it's impacted you, Lauren. Yeah, as Pat says, it's a religion. I used to be driven demented trying to get so much protein to me all the time. I became so sick of chicken and beef and everything like that. You know, and I was doing it because I was told that I was supposed to, and that's what I'd read, but the reality is I didn't need that. Didn't need anything like it at all. Right, guys, any other questions or comments or feedback on the presentation? Like, any skeptics still out there? Anyone still feel that, you know, what they've heard isn't really to them doesn't seem accurate, or does it make sense? Because I'm always very big on telling you what you should do, but also then tell you why. So can everyone confirm whether they understand it and they feel it's right now, or they're still a bit dubious? So again, just type into your question box there. That's a pretty serious topic. As I've said in this title even, your consumption of animal and dairy products is killing you. And so some people might think of the extreme as people live to 80, 90, and they consume lots of dairy products, animal products, and they lived, didn't kill them. But the reality is, whatever age you live to, it's killing you. So if someone lives to 90, they could live to 110. Someone lives to 50, could live to 70. And also, what pains, aches, ailments, diseases did they have throughout their life? How energetic were they? How often did they get even colds, flus, even something simple like a cold sore or rashes? Bottom line is, if your body is acidic, it's going to have issues. That's 100% what's going to happen. It's going to have issues, whether it be very serious ones or minor ones. But if your body is alkaline-based, none of these things happen. So the key thing is move more towards an alkaline-based lifestyle. Okay, everyone seems to be good. So what's left is I just want to thank you for your attention. Thank you so much for being on. Key thing is to take action. Like one of the slides, control is this education. You need to take action. I want you to real action in terms of taking good steps in the right direction, and then you get your results. And the good thing with dairy and animal products is you will feel the difference within a week even. Okay? Tony, thanks a lot, and great to see you on. Do your best to get on every week. And everyone, please spread the word about these webinars. It's important that you spread the word about how you found the webinar, did you find it beneficial, how it's impacting you. Also on the webinar registration page where you originally signed up and put in your details, there's a comment section at the end of it. I'd really appreciate if you put in a comment there about your experience. In terms of recording, you'll get an email tomorrow that will give you access to recording for the next 48 hours. So keep an eye on that, both for yourself to watch it again if you wish, and also to share with your friends and contacts. Awesome webinar, good stuff. Thanks for the comments. That's the key thing. And even another part, taking action, get signed up to either attend Form for Success Live, either live at the venue in Limerick, $97 or euros, or via live stream for $27. And guys, 3 full days of coaching. This is life-changing stuff, and also access to recordings, which are worth a few $100s at home. So it's a no-brainer. If you're not on the live stream or at the venue, I really question how much you really want to change. Okay, guys, so it's up to you. Make the right decision. Okay, make the right decision for you. That's what's really important. Invest in yourself. Like the way you've been on this webinar, invest in you. All right, guys, please spread the word. Comment about what your experience, Facebook, and so on. And I look forward to speaking to you on our next Form of Success. Dave Sheahan, talk to you soon.